No, let's go this way. It's got my fraction. I look ridiculous. Hey guys. I feel like people keep avoiding me in a lot of space on the sidewalk. I can't imagine why. Was I wondering how I got myself in this pickle? It's pretty embarrassing, but I gotta be honest, but that's the point. I'm trying to feel embarrassed for science. Embarrassment, awkwardness, cringe, no matter what you call it, is one of the most unique human emotions and was one that particularly hard to figure out. If a feeling exists and lasted through the evolution, it probably has a purpose. So why do we feel embarrassment? It not be something we relish. A feeling and experience most of us do whenever we kind of to avoid. But what is embarrassment is actually a good thing. How would you define embarrassment? That's a good question. The thing that you want to hide, you shame for who you are. This awful feeling where you just kind of and her scream, no, stop. Don't talk. Shut your mouth. For in public and want nobody to hear. Look at that in the dictionary. Extremely uncomfortable. Ooh, that's a good one. Or a feeling of, now I'm nervous. What is the camera rolling? Whatever it is, right? Like, how do I describe what I'm feeling right now in this moment? Hey, smart people, Joe here. Embarrassment is a unique emotion. But what are emotions? Scientists love categorizing things. Originally have been surprisingly difficult to fit in these neat little boxes. In fact, scientists have been struggling to settle on a universal definition of what an emotion since the 18,000s. Researchers generally agree that emotions fall into one of a few different bins. Basic emotions like happiness, sadness, fear, and anger pop up quickly without much conscious thought. That's because they evolved to ensure our survival, like we don't have time to consciously think about being afraid when we see a creepy clown peeking out of the gutter, we just run. But embarrassment is different. It falls into another category. Emotions such as self-conscious emotion. Self-conscious emotions require more brain power than basic emotions because you have to think before you feel. Embarrassment also falls into the category of social emotion, based whenever or not we feel embarrassed depends on social rules. So let's say you just ordered pad thai from your favorite restaurant, but you can trip and fill all the sport on the way to your kitchen. When you're home alone, when you drop your dinner, you might feel frustrated, but not probably embarrassed. That's because no one was there to see your klutzy moment. I mean, maybe your dogs see you, but they aren't judging you, they're thanking you. Now if you spoil food all over the floor in the restaurant, and Barry does that thing when they stop talking and stare right at you, well, in that case, you might feel like dying. Embarrassment. What makes a home alone scenario frustrating? The crowded restaurant embarrassing. Social context. The social evolution model of embarrassment says embarrassment comes from anticipating other people's negative judgment. Even though in reality most people aren't paying as much attention to us when we think as they are, our fear of social judgment can create real pain. It's hard to cultivate the image of ourselves that we share with the world. So we accidentally show the world a version of ourselves that doesn't match what we wish. I feel pretty terrible. Psychologist John Sabani identified three social situations that trigger embarrassment. First is false pass. These happen when someone commits a social gaffe. Your embarrassment moment is you willing to share with the world. It was in math class. I dropped my book, immediately went to pick up, and farted super loud. No one said anything, and I moved my chair to make another sound till people thought it was a chair. That did not help. I've fallen into a pool before with on a party. How many people saw you do that? 20. You count exactly? I remember this vividly. I was on the background yard growing up and was like with my friends, sisters, and neighbors. We're having a good time. And one of the guys pants me. I was like 10 years old and it was super embarrassing. And this is why this day I wear underwear where I'm wearing a swim trunk. I remember when was this guy, he pushed me down the flight of stairs. Yeah, it was bad. Kids don't believe it was horrible. And a big knot in my head. It was embarrassing because people was laughing. I was so mad, I was sad, I was crying. In the center of tension, that was trigger embarrassment. For example, the whole restaurant staff can sing happy birthday to you can make you want to hide under the table. You thought those people at the party were your friends. And finally, there's a sticky situation. This is when we ask someone to perform a task they can't or won't successfully complete. On a date, it was our third date. It was just be very specific, and the bill came, and I was like, I'm a strong, independent woman. Let's split the bill. Because, he was like, fine, whatever. We split the bill, and the waitress come back, and she goes, ma'am, your card was declined. And was like, you should have let me pay for the bill. I was like, okay, well, do you think? Here's this one, because I don't have the money for it, apparently. It was a fourth date. That was everybody wants to know. There was a fourth date, and he did pay from there on. So, I was at the dive bar backlot. I was a little tipsy. I saw the guy, and I was like, oh my god, he's TikTok famous. So I got up with my phone with the TikTok, and was like, is this you? He turns like, and then he's like, no. I was like, no, you. I showed like 6 TikToks, and like, no, that's not me. I just thought, we're just gonna be best buds. He's gonna laugh about it. We're gonna be friends. But it's just really stupid and I had to run away. All the examples of situations where we step with social expectations and teaching where the boundaries of social norms and good behavior are seems to be the key point of embarrassment. But we still feel embarrassed when we're following all the rules. Even in the sports match and suddenly found you're drawing jumbotron, and you probably know what I'm talking about. I mean, you're just trying to eat your nachos in peace, and now your face is on a big screen, and I have no idea what to do. Scientists refer to this as dramatic model of embarrassment. We feel embarrassed when we can't figure out a social acceptable thing to do. So in the case of jumbotron, you feel embarrassed because you're unsure if you just keep eating your nachos or something. The situation that embarrasses you may not embarrass someone else. According to motion researcher Ronald S. Miller, people who are susceptible to feeling embarrassment are more concerned with following social norms and more afraid of rejection. There was a day in Austin, people dressed as pickles. Hi. Kid thought I was cool. Basically, you're more likely to feel embarrassed when you're less likely to rock with the social boat. So the models of emotion helps us understand why we feel embarrassed when something socially awkward happens to us. Why can we feel embarrassed for other people? That's called vigorous embarrassment. It happens when we feel awkward thanks to someone else's mistakes. When we feel vicarious embarrassment, imagining what another people is feeling, which fires up a particular region in your brain. Those are also the part of the brain that helps you feel empathy, which is one of the things that makes human relationships so rich and complex. So we feel vigorous embarrassment. Congratulations, you care. That's a good thing. And these days, there's a whole industry built around vigorously experiencing embarrassment in the name of entertainment cringe comedy. Cringe comedy uses this theory of being a violation, breaking social rules and environment free from actual real world harm. Thinking of threatened situation like to have to deal with racism at work and making it harmless by ridiculing it in an imaginary world. So we enjoy cringe comedy because it allows us to experience uncomfortable situations safely. That way, we can learn from others' social mistakes and laugh about it in the progress. What do you think the point of embarrassment? Like, why do we have the emotion? Like, what the use of it? Probably because we want people to see in this image and we can get embarrassed by it. So, in neuroscience, so definitely something around the brain and how the brain operates. There's a thing that we learn the brain says, oh, that should make you feel embarrassed. I think our ego's trying like to save us because I think it's very valuable for us to like have good social personas when those are threatened. Like cultural capital or social capital is threatened. From my perspective, I believe embarrassment exists in order for people to curtail their actions. I think it's maybe to humble yourself a bit and keep you in line checked. Like, because if you're not embarrassed, you do some crazy, maybe you can't learn from the experience. Do I look cucumber in this? As the guy in the pickle suit, I can definitely say that embarrassed feel pretty crummy. But that heart racing, stomach churning feeling is also a sign that embarrassment is doing a revolutionary job to help us follow society's rules. Researchers think that embarrassment evolved for a way as to maintain bonds with other members in a social group, like warning us when we've crossed a boundary. And today, a social group may be a group of people who share interests or identities, but imagine back when humans lived in bands or hunter-gatherers. Do something that made you an outcast could literally be a death sentence. There's strong evolutionary pressure to go with the flow. There's a physical feeling that you associate with embarrassment, definitely like the rosy in the cheeks, and my ears get really hot. Have you ever felt like your face is in a fire pit? Like this, because that's the physical feeling. Sweaty, mild panic attacks. My body gets hot and I get the anxiety hives. It's a whole thing. Maybe a little bit of heart racing when you're flushed. I would say it's shoulders coming down and coming inward, like physically hiding. It's kind of like when you see a cute girl a date and you have those on butterfly in your stomach. But the embarrassing part, like you have to fart really bad. The physical signs of embarrassment, like blushing, are signal that to others that we recognize our mistakes and that we're sorry for them. A way to authentically communicate that we know we messed up. We're also more likely to feel embarrassment in front of members of his own social group versus outsiders. So embarrassment shows us where we fit in and where we don't. The embarrassment can even benefit our social group. People who show embarrassment are more likely to engage in beneficial or pro-social behaviors like sharing or cooperating because embarrassment follows the rules of society. It counts as embarrassment changes from culture to culture. For example, if I visit Japan and wear my shoes inside my friend's house, my friend might be embarrassed for me. That's a social no-no, even though it's not a big deal in the United States. I might become embarrassed because of my false past. You should probably be a better guess. Embarrassment's ability to change our behavior explains why we relive our most embarrassing moments. By remembering our mistakes, we learn that from them so that we don't make them again. Embarrassment isn't our only complex social human emotion. We also have empathy, which embarrassment can make us feel. Empathy we feel from embarrassment motivates us to be better humans and community members. So while embarrassment feels like the end of the world, it actually brings us together. Knowing that we're out of line and apologizing strengthens our relationship. That sense of connection can hopefully help us feel less alone even when we're walking around in a pickle suit. Stay curious.